Alright, so this week people sent in questions because they want answers, and I have answers, trust me. And we're gonna start with, explain why many girls are opposed to anal. Face the fear and do it anyway. Okay, what the fuck? Let's just skip that one. What's your least favorite show on TV? Easily TMZ. TMZ has to be the worst show ever. I understand why it's a thing, but it is dreadful. You got that short guy who stands behind the wall the entire episode and he's got his hands on the fucking rail. He's always drinking some like Starbucks macchiato bullshit and he's just like, alright, what do we got? And then some guy who looks like Ryan Seacrest's little sister chimes in from the back with breaking news. Yeah, well, we ran into Kylie Jenner outside of Club Live in Miami. Okay, let's just make this clear. You didn't run into anybody. You paid some dudes to sit outside this place for 5 hours until she came out, and then they shoved a camera in her face and asked her who she was dating and like if her lips were real. That is the furthest thing from running into someone. Running into someone is like being at the supermarket and you see your old gym teacher, you're like, oh hey, Mr. Smith, how's it going? And you guys have a fucking weird convo in front of the apples. So I don't know where you're getting this, oh, we ran into Kylie No, you didn't. You were stalking her if anything, you weirdo. And they asked such weird questions. They were asking this 17-year-old girl, are your lips real? We want to know, are your lips real? Dude, who gives a shit if her lips are real? I don't even care if her hands are real. If she had 2 fake hands, who gives a shit? That wouldn't change my opinion at all. You waited 5 hours just to ask her about her lips? These cameramen that TMZ hire are completely insane. They either ask like really personal questions like, oh, how's the divorce going? Who's getting the kid? Or the dumbest question ever, like, oh, hey, Tom Cruise, what's your favorite season? And then Tom Cruise would be like, oh, I like winter because I hate sweating. And then they'll cut back to the studio and everyone's fucking blown away by that. He hates sweating. It's fucking... This is entertainment. I'm sorry for the rant. What's the funniest thing you've seen on the subway? So I used to work in Manhattan and I had to take the subway to work. And if you're not from New York, just know that a lot of shit can happen on the train. Sometimes it's literally shit. Sometimes you walk in and you're like, wow, a human shit on the floor in here, huh? But this time, it was piss. So I'm sitting down with my eyes closed, I'm listening to music, I can't hear anything, and then I open my eyes and I just noticed like a puddle of water, and I'm like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, it's not raining, so why is there water here? So now I follow the water because I want to know the source. So I follow the water trail and it leads me to a pissing child. Not a baby, a child is pissing his pants. And I don't know how old he was, but he was standing there pissing and not giving a single shit. He was straight-faced, just... We even made eye contact because I followed the piss up to this kid and I was blown away. So we had a moment where we were both looking at each other in the eyes and he didn't change his face. He wasn't even embarrassed. He was almost proud. He was almost just like, yes. Yes, I am pissing, and I'll take a shit after I'm done. I don't care. And it was so much piss. The piss had traveled 10 feet across the fucking train. 10 feet of piss. This boy must have drank an entire pool. Do you know how much pee that is? To pee in your jeans and boxers, and that so much so that it runs down your leg, and then onto the floor, and then 10 feet across the train? Are you kidding? The funniest part about this whole thing is that his mom was standing right next to him, and you could just tell by her face that she gave less of a shit than he did. She knew what he did, and she was just like, yeah, I don't care, man, I've had a long day, whatever, pee where you want. And that leads me to believe that this happens all the time. So that might be my funniest story. I was sitting on the train, and I locked eyes with a kid who was just peeing fucking uncontrollably. What's the biggest lie you've ever told a girl? Alright, so I went out to a bar a couple months back and I decided that I was just gonna be a completely different person. And I didn't decide this until the woman next to me asked me what I did for a living, and I just said, I am a research scientist. My 2 friends were standing next to me and gave me this look like, what are you doing? And I turned around to let them know, I've got this. And she was intrigued and she was kind of like, what exactly do you do? And my friends kind of looked at me like, yeah, go ahead, answer that one, dickhead. And I said, well, I do stem cell research, and I don't mean to sound like a hero because I'm not. I'm just a nerd in a lab, but I'm avidly working towards trying to find a cure for cancer. And I went on and on. My friends were blown away. She was blown away. She was asking me my major, what college I went to. I had answers for all this shit. The only reason that I had the answers to all this shit is because like a week before, it was Christmas, and I was with my cousin, and he's actually a research scientist, so I was asking him all these questions, like, what the fuck do you actually do? So I had all this knowledge, so I felt like a scientist. So when she asked me, I was just kind of like, fuck it, I'm a scientist now. I wasn't even trying to get with this woman or anything, I just really enjoyed lying. I call it acting practice. Anyway, that's all the questions I have for this week. If you're one of the people in the comments that's like, hey, 1 video a week isn't enough, you piece of shit, Well, you can head on over to my other channel, youtube.com/extrajoevideos. Also, subscribe to my podcast called The Basement Yard. It comes out every Monday on iTunes and SoundCloud, and I will see you guys next week.